In my experience, studying something in the form of questions and answers is an effective way of studying basically anything. If you have a question about something, that's because you're lacking some knowledge or some understanding. If you have an answer to that question and you have nothing to question anymore about some material, you could say that you mastered it. And for that, I created this simple app. Don't expect too much because I built this in my spare time. I was brought to the idea by my wife. She asked me, "Can you help me rehearse the things that I'm studying?" And I said, "All right, we can automate that." So in this little app, I'll show you what I've built. And my wife used it for 2 years, and she happily used it. She found it very effective. And I'm also using it to study linear algebra at this moment. All right, so in this app, it's created of two sections basically. The right section is where you build your question list that is going to train you, the question trainer, and the left side is your library. It says books, chapters, questions, but you could also say videos, sections with your questions, or it's a hierarchy, and you can put it to use any way you see fit, of course. There's this option that you can choose which view you like. So this is the view for both. You can view only your library or you can view only your questions. For now we'll go with both. So what I have here is already, I added some book. You can add as many as you want. Well, until you run out of memory, of course, of your browser, because everything is stored in the browser. No one else can see it. It's stored on your computer. It's just like a Word or Excel spreadsheet file or anything. It's local. No one else gets to see what you type here. I add a second book just for example. So here you have your list of chapters per book. I'm not going to fill any chapters for book 2, but for this one I already created some chapters. When you do so, you fill in the chapter number and the title, and it's added, and it shows you how many questions you have added to this chapter. Questions you add by going to the question tab, you select the book, and you select the chapter you want to add the question to. A page if you want, not required, but if you want. Then you add your question here. What is my question anyway? And you put an answer here. And next you want to train yourself with all these questions. What you can do is you can either go to a chapter. Well, you can add individual questions like this. You can add all the questions in a chapter like this, or you can add all the chapters in a book like this. Don't worry if a question was already there, because no duplicate question is added. So if you add individual questions and then all the questions from the book, then you get all the questions from the book without duplicates. Alright, so now that you've built your list of questions, you want to train yourself. You can go to the view that you only show the questions to not, so you cannot peek on what you have in your library, because in the questions you also have your answers here. So you go to the questions only view and then you start to train yourself. And then randomly from the list of questions that you put together, a question is taken. How is a vector different from an array? And then I type something. A vector has dimensions. I don't know, I just give some answer now, which is incorrect, but just for the example. And then I compare the answer that I gave to the expected answer that I put in myself also, of course. And if you're honest with yourself, I would say, well, a vector has dimension, and what's the expected answer? An array, a sequence of elements. Well, then I have this question wrong. What happens if you answered a question wrongly and you have this button turned on? It's being put back in the list. So we should see the question here somewhere. I don't see it. How is a vector different from an array? Well, there you have it. Sorry for the time that it took for me to find this question. It's also apparently put at the end of the question stack. So you will get this question again once you go through this entire list. You can turn that feature off if you want, but the idea behind this is that all questions are being repeated and repeated and repeated until you at least answer them correctly once. So, alright, the next question was loaded. What is my question anyway? Just a silly answer, but for the example, correct, I've got this question correct. So this question now is removed from the list and you can see that here, 24 questions remaining. Instead of previously it showed 25 questions. What does the T mean in the formula? I know that one. Transpose. Transpose the formula indicates the dot product. Well, I'm being honest with myself. I think I also should have indicated this. I marked this question as wrong. It's being put back in the list, and so you loop through the entire list of questions. It's a simple way. It's also a simple app. As I said, I created this in my spare time. You can request features if you want. If they don't take too long to build and you're really keen to have them, I can build them for you if you want. The last thing I would like to show you is that I've added these two buttons, and it says export and import library. So like this whole section is your library. You can download it like this. And so that's basically, like I said, the Word file or the Excel file. It's stored locally on your computer. So if you want to use it anywhere else, you need to carry this file with you, or at least have it accessible. So for instance, are you sure you want to delete this book? Yes, I'm sure. Are you sure you want to delete this book? Oh no, damn it, I deleted all my questions. Well, don't worry, you can import your library again. Import. And here you have them. So it's restored. So you could also use this like if you have several types of libraries, one for biology books, or one for mathematics, or whatever. And here you can see that I once in a while I fix something if I encounter a bug myself. But as I said, you can request features if you want. If you find a bug, please let me know. It's an open source project on GitHub. I use the name Devney there, very low-res picture of me. And there you have question trainer. It's written in VueJS. I also added some unit tests. So yeah, if you want to download this and you want to tweak it for your own needs, feel free. You can just download the repository here. If you find any issues, any bugs, please report them. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I hope that this question trainer will be of use to you. Bye.